Reduced inbound flights due to the COVID-19 pandemic have decreased the amount of mail coming into the garrison. About a third of the 14,000 pounds Kwajalein and Roy normally receive each week. But the garrison's local mail processing effort has gotten a bit more complicated. Due to the dangers of the coronavirus, the Kwajalein Post Office has teamed up with the vector management staff to sanitize every bag of mail and every parcel that enters the island.
Normally 5,000 pounds of mail, we would process it within 3 hours. Now it's taking us about 6 hours. You have to dump everything out, disinfect all the mail, let it dry, but it does come with a cost. It does damage our labels if it doesn't dry up too quickly. So we do try our best to make sure we write them up and scan them as quick as possible so we know who the packages belong to.
A C-17 delivered more than 16,000 pounds of mail a couple of weeks ago, pushing the post office and vector teams into overdrive. They broke down pallets stacked with small mountains of mail and went through the time-consuming process of laying each individual parcel onto a pallet to be sprayed down with a bleach solution. The point being to kill any remaining traces of the virus that might persist on the surfaces of the packages.
We already are short-staffed, but for that process, it took us 3 days to sort the mail out. And that was because also we have to disinfect the mail. Normally for 16,000 pounds of mail, it would have taken us about 2 days, probably less, a day and a half. But with the new rules and sanitizing the mail, it's taking us, like I said, 4 times longer.
Once the mail gets inside the building, postal clerks take over.
Bring them in, unload it, unpack it, and then we write them up and we put them away and we give it to the customer when they come to the window.
Larios made it a point to emphasize again that overall, the amount of incoming mail is down due to the logistical challenges stemming from the pandemic. And he's asking garrison residents to be patient.
We do see an impact of mail being held back a lot. We do get phone calls every day, even through Facebook. Are we getting any mail? How much are we getting? We just tell them we don't know. Be patient, please, because I don't want to tell people we are getting mail and next you know it, it doesn't come in, so then the community gets even more mad. We play a major role on this island. We are the reason why people smile every day after work when they get off at 4 o'clock, because if you're having a bad day and you come by the post office and you're seeing a care package from your mom or dad or family member, that is a morale boost that will go ahead and encourage you to work even harder the next day.
Coming soon, it's that time of the year again, a time where the community comes together to support each other in some friendly competition. This will be the 41st annual RustMan, a triathlon designed for the Usaka community with a 1 kilometer swim from the dock to Iman, 42 kilometer bike around the airport, and a 10K run around the community. This year, Kevin Quigley, Ben Bartizel, and Patrick Phelan have teamed up to conquer RustMan together as the team Sharkbait and the Antenna leads. I spoke to the team to see how they were preparing for this year's RustMan and what they anticipated going into it. Can you guys tell me how you came up with your team name?
The team name is Sharkbait and the Antenna Leads.
So when I got here for work, I actually worked for Ben, and when he got promoted from the antenna lead position, I moved into that position. So we had the same position, so I thought that was a good team name. And then Kevin's a diver for San Juan, so he spends a lot of time in the water, so he's a little bit of Sharkbait. So Sharkbait and the Antenna Leads.
And I think the name came up with Patrick and Kevin. We're working on that together, and they came up with that one. It's a great one.
So can you tell me how you guys ended up teaming up for the RustMan?
So I really like competing in RustMan. It's a lot of fun, and I have a really fun time doing it as a team.
I think Patrick came up with the idea in February to put a team together.
Patrick asked me one night if I would swim for him, and I said okay.
And I was looking for a biker, and I thought of Ben and asked him, and he was interested. And then Kevin actually approached me and asked if I was doing it and said he wanted to be a swimmer.
And originally he was going to swim too, but then we found Kevin at the last minute to be the Sharkbait.
What does your team anticipate for this year's RustMan?
I think we'll do pretty good. Patrick's a pretty fast runner and Ben's a good biker, so yeah.
I think we got a fairly solid team. I don't know that we're going to win it. They got some pretty strong teams out there and pretty strong individuals as well, but I think we'll have a solid finish, probably right around 2 hours, 45 minutes, something like that.
I think we're going to do pretty good. I think there's probably like 3 teams that are going to be right kind of even with each other. So it'll be fun to see how it all works out.
It's going to be weather dependent. If the winds are up, the bike is that's me, going to be slow.
And how have you been training for the RustMan? It's like, what is your routine?
So I do like 3 running days a week, 2 swim days a week, and 1 bike day a week. So get some cross training in there. So like 6 days of exercise a week.
Well, my training basically consists of a couple times a week. Usually on weekends I do my distance training. That's where I'm building up so I can make sure I do the distance. Like after this, I'm gonna basically go out and do 6-7 laps. And then during the week I do intervals, which is basically speed work, where basically I will go as hard as I can for anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute, and then I'll recover for a minute or 2, and then I'll go as hard as I can again. And usually I do that on the upwind stretch, because downwind, if you go as hard as you can, you're going to be going to full speed in no time.
Just been swimming. I swim the lagoon every once in a while, and I come in the pool here and do interval training. I haven't been swimming as much as I should have been, but I guess that average was like 3 days a week. I should have been going a lot more, but yeah.
You know, especially if the wind's around 20. But that's pretty typical for training, and you don't want to overdo it. Typically after this week, I'll have a light day, probably around Thursday or Friday, because you don't want to be totally tired out come race day on Monday.
So is this your first RustMan?
Yes.
So this will be my 4th year in the RustMan. The first year I was here, I did it by myself. In the last 2 years, I've competed as a team.
I've done 7 times as an individual, and then I've done it 3 times as a runner, and this will be my 2nd time as a biker. So I've done it at basically a dozen times.
Have you competed in other triathlons?
Yes, I actually started doing triathlons in the States, and basically in Texas.
I used to do it when I was in high school and middle school, a little bit in college.
I wanted to before I came out here, but in the States they're really expensive and they're a little harder to find, but here it's so convenient and the whole community is doing it, so it's a lot of fun.
And that's where I started doing triathlon with the training and doing everything from the sprint distance to the middle distance, and even done a few half Ironman. So it's you can get into it. It's a great way to keep in shape. There's a lot of camaraderie in the training teams, and that's one of the best parts, is just meeting people and getting to train with other people.
We started talking to some people, and they're like, "You should try triathlons out." Tried it out. I enjoyed them, except for the biking. I hate biking so much. But I was enjoying them enough. I was started with sprint ones, which are a lot shorter, about half the distance the RustMan is on everything, and then worked my way up to Olympic distance, which what RustMan is. Once I got to college, I tapered off.
What would you say is the challenging part of your leg of the race?
The biggest challenge with the bike is always the winds. Basically, you will fly going downwind, but then you'll be basically in a grind going upwind. Anything about 15 miles an hour, it's not too bad. Below 10, 12 is wonderful. It gets at about 20, it's going to be a long day out there.
I hear the start is a little rocky, literally and figuratively, just because it's right there at the pier and you got to climb down and then everybody takes off, I guess.
For the run, I think the hardest part is getting dehydrated. It's hard to drink enough water that you don't dehydrate, but then to not drink too much water that you get all bloated. So that's one of the reasons I run with a camel pack, so I can take kind of small sips periodically rather than like big gulps come in the water station. And then if you miss that critical water handoff, then you're not stranded with the camel pack.
If the weather's bad, it'll be a lot more difficult than obviously if it's good, and the start is tricky just because mass start. It'll be tricky, but then once the thing starts going, kind of spreads out. So other than that, I think it's gonna be pretty. I mean, I've got the shortest legs, so I don't really, yeah.
So tune in next time to see how they did. Will they be the winning team? Will they even finish? Who knows? I guess we'll have to wait till next episode to find out.
Are you really? What are some of your favorite TV and movie recommendations, Kwaj? That's what we're gonna ask you now. Yes, The Amazing Race, May 20th, CBS. Be there.
I watch a lot of SV Delos on YouTube and the O'Kellys on YouTube because they're awesome.
Mandalorian?
The platform, it makes you really think critically, and it's really scary.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Somewhat family friendly is Lucifer on Netflix.
All right, you got John Wick, all three. You got Heat, awesome movie.
Narcos. I'm a fan of Community.
You got Hawaii Five-0, FBI Most Wanted, FBI.
Have you seen the movie The Road?
I guess Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Chicago Med, Deadliest Catch. I got a bunch of them.
She's got a rickshaw. We're asking the rickshaw lady. Do you have any movie recommendations or TV recommendations? Maybe perhaps one that involves a rickshaw.
Slumdog Millionaire.
The most recent TV show I've been watching, just started last night, was Tiger King. You see all the memes, you gotta be up with the times, you know?
Das Boot in German, because it's so realistic.
I quite like Archer, Shawshank Redemption, The Last Samurai.
Right now we're watching The 100. It's extremely gory. It is good, isn't it? It's quite addicting.
There's a show I like called Forensic Files. It's like these true based events on crime scenes. I recommend it. It's on Netflix.
Atari. It's a John Wayne flick from 1962.
Blade Runner. The original. Like Blade Runner. It's my favorite movie because it's dystopian and beautiful, and the sun never shines.
The old one or the new one?
The original.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which cut?
Oh. It's the first editor's cut, yeah, with the 30 seconds extra.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Great selection. None of you mentioned Kwaj Current. 2.5 years, 52 episodes. None of you mentioned Kwaj Current. Are you even subscribed to our YouTube channel? If not, just go to YouTube. U.S. Army Garrison Kwajalein Atoll. You'll find all our episodes there. If you are watching this on YouTube, though, thank you, and smash the like button.
Don't go in there, girl!
you.